Good evening, Dude79 here, just doing a quick mic check, make sure the audio levels sound good. If you can hear us, let us know how it sounds. Hopefully it sounds clean and crisp.
Hello, looking forward to talking to you soon.
We'll be live in just a moment. Thank you so much, Seven Dungeons, for that raid. We really appreciate your support, brother. We'll be live in just a moment. Welcome to another edition of Banter and Babble. I'm the Dude79, and joining me always, my esteemed colleague, Mr. Fanboytone. Mr. Fanboytone, what's going on, dude?
Not a whole lot, just tired and living the dream as always, right?
Hey, at least the laptop hasn't crashed yet, right?
Let's give it a couple minutes.
I'm still like traumatized from I wouldn't even call it a show. Maybe 2 weeks ago, we tried to do a show at Koi's Comics, and it was an unmitigated disaster.
Like every time we're there.
Yeah, no, it always seems to be whenever we go to Coy's,
Well,
just like the bad luck train follows us there.
something, and they blame it on the building. They say electronics in that building just
They
have bad
did
luck.
mention that, and I was like, you guys failed to mention this to me in the first place. We would have been like, hey, let's do the show somewhere else.
Right, and they're good sports about it. They actually wouldn't even let us leave.
No, we were there for like 2 hours,
yeah,
2.5 hours.
just hanging out and drinking with them. That's how great they are. And yes, we're supposed to be live tonight from Coy's, of course, at 8:00 tonight. But unfortunately, our good pal there, Steve, got sick. I'm gonna guess probably from Black Friday. They had a busy weekend.
Ugh, yeah.
Things in that nature as well too. So he probably got the gunk from somebody who doesn't wash their hands. But at the very least, they let us know last night they can't, and they're bummed for that. But we'll catch up with them probably really soon here. But either way, we were able to just adjust and do like normal from the home base tonight. So we appreciate everybody able to stop through. Everybody, as always, bringing in those raids and those subs, guides. Thank you so much.
Really appreciate the support. Yeah, and it's because of that support it made going out and grabbing a new laptop a little bit easier. And I mean, I tell you, man, I mentioned this in the Discord after we bought the laptop. It amazes me how much this shit has advanced in terms of like the tech and the power. Like this laptop is half the price, costs half the amount that my other one costs, and is infinitely better, like in every which way possible in terms of like what it can do. I'm not gonna try gaming on it, but in terms of like streaming and all that stuff, like it's unbelievable how much overhead I still have. Like when I'm doing stuff, and I'm still gonna take it in and get another 16 gigs of RAM put in there just so it's we're all good to go. But no, I'm really excited about it. So far the audio has worked well. We did a stream the other night. It worked good. It held up. The audio never cut out. So I think we can finally move forward as a stream and not have to worry about little things. I'm going to knock on wood. But no, I mean, again, the stream the other day worked really well. And so far, and all the testing that I've done and some of the trials I've done at home, tweaking stuff, getting things set up,
right,
it's worked pretty good. So really happy with what we've got so far. But Tone,
yes,
we were off last week. It was Thanksgiving, the greatest holiday of all time. And I did my part by just undoing everything I've done in terms of my weight loss and trying to eat better.
and your belt
And my belt.
or pants.
And my pants. I wear stretchy pants like all weekend. So, but how was your Thanksgiving, man? What'd you do?
I went to Sisters. They make really good food. I'm a big fan. Like, listen, I love turkey like anybody else. I got my turkey leg this year. They cooked it to perfection. Even the breast meat was plump, juicy, and moist, of course, and it was delicious. But the leg was top tier this year. It's the sides that kill it for me. I'm a huge fan of.
You're a liver and onions guy, right?
Stuffing. I need to try. It's been.
You do.
I haven't been a kid since when I was a kid was the last time I had liver or gizzards even. So I need to get back on that train just to try them. I'm an adult now. I know my palate's evolved, but no, it's the stuffing and gravy for me, dude, honestly. And I just like it buttered up right against the mashed potatoes, gravy the shit out of them both, and call it a day. I'm good on that. But I know I got some slack from the some of the people out there about the cranberry sauce choices, the canberry as they call it.
What's wrong with canberry?
Hey, I like cranberries anyway and get it. I love them when they're made like a salad, like a cranberry salad. Eat it like crazy.
So we got some cranberry snobs out there.
There are, and you know what? I will eat it any way I can get it. So
Dungeon says canberries are
he's
awful.
Definitely the forerunner, but you got to remember. This is a guy that likes White Castle, so you got to take what he says.
I mean, there's what's wrong with White Castle. Here we go. Just the same bullshit dungeons. I mean, there's worse stuff out there than White Castle.
There is, but
rallies for one.
That's like comparing different turds in a toilet. Big whoop. One's just runnier than the others. They've got Brittany's out there, no cranberry. They don't even like cranberry.
Oh, Dungeons. That's right. Dungeons coming up. He needs to bring us some White Castle.
Yeah, so it's a week and a half actually, 7 Dungeons. So yeah, we may on Friday night instead of going to Coco Loco as tradition usually has it. We may unless we make a small rundown. Well, maybe we'll talk about that. There's some options for that. He's bound to tournament. I got to give it a shot again.
Where's it at? It's in Flint.
It's right on. Yeah, it's right on Corona Road.
Corona Road,
21 right there. It's literally like 40-minute straight shot down.
I mean, and that's worth it for a bag of sliders.
I mean, he's got an electric hybrid car, so it's not like
he's driving.
He's driving.
He's driving for sure.
Yeah, you want me to eat that shit? You driving, son?
Dude, we had Thanksgiving in our house was great,
That's
man.
right.
My wife crushed it this year. Had a big ass turkey, 20 some pounds. I mean, it was a big turkey. and she cooked
Damn.
it to perfection, dude. We
Yeah.
injected it with some Kerrygold butter, and it was so choice. She did a great job with it. The sides
You
were
inject
killer.
it with some butter too.
What's that?
You inject it with some butter too.
I
You
did.
stuff it.
That's what I mean. If you want to call it butter.
Just checking.
No, it was good, man. The sides were
Mhm.
killer. My dad made some of his homemade stuffing, brought some of his gravy that he makes. It was very, very good. The liver and onions were crispy and crunchy because they were fried. They were amazing. It was just a really nice thing. We actually had a pretty good football game to watch. The Lions didn't disappoint. They lost, but they were competitive against one of the teams that's considered to be a Super Bowl favorite.
Bills.
The Buffalo Bills, and they hung with them. You know, there was some questionable coaching or time management stuff going on, but for the most part, it was a great game to watch. It was unfortunate they had to lose, but no, it was a nice day, man. We had my brother-in-law came up with my niece, got to see her again, and
Cool.
it was a good time. And I was in bed early. I was
Cool.
tired after I ate all that fucking turkey, man. I had a leg, I had a wing, I had breast meat, I had 100.
Damn, you
I
did it.
I pigged out, dude.
So when I got back to my sister, she let me take some food home, and I didn't really eat anything later that night except for a little bit of pie. I held like
What kind of pie did you have?
Oh man, tell you,
Oh shit!
it's my family. So not a lot of us aren't big cake people. We are pie people.
Oh, yeah.
I think I've talked about that numerous times.
I feel like you
It's
have to be if you live in
It's the
Michigan.
one time of the year where pecan pie gets made, and if you enjoy
That's
pecan
what I
pie,
had, dude. I had pecan pie.
dude, I'm telling you, this like I've had pecan pies. Pecan pie is good naturally.
Yes.
This recipe that's been in my family for fucking so long, many years, decades long.
Let me
Like
go there and
I
see
think it
it's
was
in
my
a Meyer
great grandma.
box, right?
I think it was great grandma Payne's recipe
Oh
from like
shit!
we're talking like early mid 1900s, like that kind of old. This
Oh, wow.
recipe is fantastic. So I had a piece of that. Same with the apple pie. It's the only apple pie that I really enjoy a lot is this homemade family recipe.
Mhm.
And then so I had a slice of that. My mom found a recipe on Facebook. It's not a pie necessarily. It's more like a cake, but it's a chocolate eclair. So she made that. That was the first time making that. It was unbelievable. Like if you've ever had a chocolate eclair,
Yeah.
it tasted just like that. Sister made a peanut butter pie, which
A
was
peanut butter pie.
probably the best peanut butter pie yet I've had. And then there was a pumpkin there. Now I am not like as much as I love pumpkin spice and pumpkin things. I don't really typically like pumpkin pie.
More sweet
for
potato pie guy.
I am.
Yep.
I am. I love yams. I love sweet potato. I had a really good sweet potato dessert this last weekend that a friend had made, and it was top tier. Probably one of the best sweet potato desserts I've ever had.
I've never had peanut butter pie, dude.
So I don't think it's that hard to make. if I can convince her to do it, she will make a fucking peanut butter pie for us. So if you want to try it,
I do.
I'm telling you, you will be like, why have I not had this before?
Crash, I'm the same way, dude. I've never heard of peanut butter pie, dude.
It's light. It's not even like a cheesecake. It's lighter than a cheesecake. It's still like a pie, but it's peanut butter and there's like chocolate drizzled on it, man. It's like it's like eating it, and they still use the family recipe for the pie crust. It's all scratch pie crust. It's I mean the pie, the baking in this family is top notch. So pies definitely are a big centerpiece for me when it comes to Thanksgiving, and two of those hit my top 5 favorite pies right there, and pecan is definitely in that top 5.
Pecan is so good,
it's
man.
so
My
fucking
mother-in-law
underrated,
made
too.
a mean pecan pie
Dude.
that was really
Yeah,
fucking good. I
man.
had like 2 or 3 pieces, and after that is when I was fucking done.
Yep.
I was like, okay, I'm out,
I
dude.
ate way too much for that dinner.
Dungeon says I made a sour cream raisin pie.
Yeah, I would try that. I'm skeptical. But then again, you also eat
That
White
sounds a little
Castle.
sos.
So, yeah, well,
I'll
You
make
make-
one for you.
okay,
I mean,
deal.
dude, he's gonna be busy before next week.
yeah, you better come up maybe Thursday
some White
night.
Castle. I'm gonna need some more of his seltzer.
We
I'm
got
gonna
Coca
need.
Loco on Friday.
I mean, yeah, you might want to take a couple days off, dude. You're gonna be making everything, and you got to make drinks. You got to make pie. You got to bring White Castle.
KY.
So, I mean, that just goes without saying, right?
Yeah.
Because he likes it on his shoulders, right? Stretch out and stuff. Yeah,
Usually.
it's usually how it works. Much appreciated, Cuddles.
Thanks, buddy.
I am going to fix that. But Tom, what else you been up to, man?
Let's see. Binge watching show. I can't juggle all these shows right now. It's fucking impossible. I know we're not talking about it tonight, but I did start the Wednesday show. I'm about 4 or 5 episodes in. Really love that. Started $18.99. Only 2 episodes in on that. I need to finish that ASAP. That's really already engaging. And pretty wild. God of War's got me gripped really hard right now. Like I can't leave it alone. Any free time I get, even if it's an hour, I will play some God of War. I don't think I'm super close to it, but I gotta get there. Orville's gonna have to happen when there's not a lot of things coming out. Blanco, just too much flying out right now. Like
There's a lot.
I'm
dude.
behind on Chucky right now and everything too.
You
So
got Wednesday that just
we
came
just
out.
finished Andor a couple weeks ago, and,
Yep.
and then we had Willow drop today, and yeah, it's just been absolutely nuts. So just the same old shit.
Oh, and I am now 4 episodes away from being done with The Boys.
Oh shit!
4 episodes away.
Season 3 is really fucking good.
Season 3 is off the chains, crazy, dude.
It sees all the pee-pee.
Yeah. What was it? The Tick was that guy's name or whatever it was?
Whatever. Your favorite scene.
Yeah, that was a little painful to watch. But man, one thing with that show is, man, I am never ever prepared for the level of violence that show unleashes on you when you're not ready. I mean, it's crazy horrible how violent that show can get when it really decides to go, hey, let's get nasty. Crash says, I'm so behind on Andor. Last episode I watched was the Eye episode. I'm getting a filling tomorrow, so I'll be binging the show. Good idea. Oh, shit, forgot about Willow. Yep, first 2 episodes of Willow dropped today on Disney+. We're going to talk about the first episode. We could get the second one in, but we'll give our early impressions on that. But yeah, I'm behind on a lot of stuff, and I'm behind on Chucky mainly. That's the one I got to get caught up on ASAP, because I think next week is the finale for Chucky. I believe it's next week is the finale. I think. Because it wasn't.
Are you sure it wasn't there yet?
It wasn't on, because I know it's supposed to be available on Peacock as soon as it's done, and it wasn't on Peacock yet. So, I'm assuming we have 1 episode left. Maybe it is, or maybe it waits like 30 days. I don't know, but I got to get caught up on that. But yeah, there's a lot of great shows out right now, man. It's hard
Did
to.
it last week?
The season is done already. Ended last week. Oh, it ended last week. Okay, maybe it's like 30
so.
days or some
Yeah,
shit before.
3 episodes down then.
What's
Okay.
that?
Yeah, I'm 3 episodes back.
Oh, you're 3 episodes back. Let's see what else. Oh, Tone.
Yeah. We do got to talk about that.
We need to talk about this. So the last time we were back at the base, I had gone to the Maple Grill out near Hemlock to get a bottle of the Maple Oatmeal Stout, which we enjoyed. The Caramel Apple Ale had kind of set the new precedent. But today, my wife went out there and got us a growler of the Apple Ale. Maple, not Maple. Even though it says Maple on the board, I thought it was Maple.
Apple.
And they were like, no, excuse me, it is Maple. I don't know. I'm just gonna call it Maple because I feel like they're kind of like tricking me into sound like an idiot. Like, oh, come in and say, hey, can I get the Maple Ale? Whatever the fuck it is, it's good.
Blanco, we all know that's a fucking lie, buddy.
What do you say? Tang.
And I'm not above drinking some fucking Tang. I'll tell you what.
What's wrong with Tang, man?
Nothing.
No, this thing is incredible.
This is delicious. Once again, another beer from Maple Grove.
It is
absolutely
amazing.
Yummy.
If you are in the Tri-City area, Maple Grill and Microbrewery out on M46 just before you get to Hemlock, you guys got to go there. The food is phenomenal, but I am starting to find out that this is what I'm really happy about going back for on a Tuesday or a Wednesday after work before the show to grab another growler of this. It's $22 to buy the growler, and then it's $17 to refill it. But as you can see, you get a nice big size, and it is so fucking good. They have a nice selection of drinks there. If you go over to they're on Facebook, just look up Maple Grill and Microbrewery in Hemlock. And they have every day they take pictures of their board, what's on tap, what's available to order for food, and you will not be disappointed. It is so good. This, again, is the Maple Ale, and it is fucking delicious. Only 4%. It's crisp. It's light, but it's that flavor.
It's the flavor.
The flavor, man.
They're
it's
killing it on
so
flavor
good.
Right
So, yeah, big shout out to them. Continue to do what you guys do because you're killing it. The food is great, but the beer is pretty hot, dude. And I know for the 100th episode, which is next Saturday, we're still working on finalizing some of the details, including the time and who will be here. But we're working on having an all-star cast.
Yes.
And I am going to go out and probably get 4 or 5 of these things, and we're going to do some flights. For everybody that's here, we'll do some flights, have some drinks, probably get some peanut butter whiskey as well to kind of spice things up when we need to. Cuddles, you're always invited. That's the thing. It's an open invite. That's the thing. You don't have to keep inviting somebody. It's just like when I told you like many moons ago, I was like, dude, you should come over here. You should come up Saginaw. That is extended automatically.
I could put a straw in this.
I want an invite in the mail. Well, it's in the mail. It's a snail mail, so you'll probably get it soon. What's up, Forge? How are we doing tonight? But yes, big shout out to Maple Grill and Michael Brewery. It is phenomenal stuff. Tone, what else, man? Is there anything else we need to touch on, man? We've been out for a week, dude.
Yeah, I just want to just a little house cleaning things. I always do it at the end, and we'll probably bring it up again. But I do want to give a quick shout out again to the awesome beginning that I have to put the headset on to listen again real quick.
Oh
too.
yeah.
We have Ant House always bring us in, and then we now have Square Kid. Check him out on Instagram. That helped us create an intro here as well too. But don't forget as well, guys. We are only 4 months away right now from March. That means the Midland Mall Comic Con, the return of the Midland Mall Comic Con. So we're really super excited. If you're going to be up in that area, we can try to plan something for that Saturday night. Hopefully,
I would like
maybe
to
do something with Oracle again as well too. I'll meet up back there as well too. Do food, do something, whatever. We'll figure something out. We got more time now to kind of plan for that. It's a long weekend because realistically, we get up early, we stream all day, and then go back. Then sleep and start over again. So
it's nonstop.
And we had a blast last year doing it, and it's going to be bigger and better this year. Seven Dungeons, of course, as you know, is going to be there running some D&D tables. So if you're in the area, never played D&D, want to play D&D again, whatever it is, hang out with him, play some D&D, sign up for that, roll some dice. Come see us at the booth. If we're streaming, sometimes it's hard for us to conversate, but we try to get people in when we can as well, too, for a conversation as well. And we're also talking to some other friends maybe to be in the area to kind of support and kind of work the boost between the two or three of us there. But, we're really excited about it as well, so make sure you follow Fets Toy Depot on Facebook, along with the Return of the Midland Mall Comic-Con page as well for any updates, things in that nature too. And as always, thank you to everybody as, constantly that's out there supporting us, sharing us on social media, things in that nature as well too. 7D is of course, 7 Dungeons is the show that brings you in. It's our official pre-show. I think it is official at this point as well too.
It really is.
It is as well. And always half-ass beer review out there as well too, shouting us out constantly as well. And Cuddles as well, who's always streaming for the CWF, the Banter and Babble, the B&B Bash, I believe is this coming Sunday. So tune in 6 p.m. Eastern.
Ooh, is that this Sunday?
This Sunday for that. So very excited. So thank you guys. We appreciate all the things you guys do as well too. And that's
your spiel. Thank you, Forge, for those bits, man. We really appreciate that. So, Tone, we got quite a bit of stuff to talk about tonight. We've got a couple movie reviews. We got some TV shows to talk about. We got multiple trailers to discuss. A lot of stuff to talk about tonight. So, everyone, sit down, get bundled up, get cozy, grab a drink, and let's get the topics rolling. First up, we wanted to talk about this at Koi's Comics. We want to talk about it with Brady and Steve, but unfortunately things did not work out that night, and then they're sick tonight. But we will definitely be discussing the MCU a little bit deeper the next time we go out there. I know they want a lot of stuff they want to talk about before Quantumania comes out, so we will go into a deeper dive with them the next time we're able to get out there. But dude, I want to talk a little bit just briefly about Wakanda Forever. Obviously, it's been out for a couple weeks now. There was a lot of hype, a lot of anticipation leading up to this movie's release. It's the end of Phase 4, but it's also the bigger story behind it is, again, the absence of Chadwick Boseman, who passed away. And everyone was kind of curious, like, how are they going to be able to address that? How are they going to move the MCU forward? How are they going to keep the Black Panther series, going forward? Like, there was a lot of stuff that people were hoping to get from this movie. A lot of things that people were like, how is Ryan Coogler going to be able to balance and juggle all of this? And, dude, we went and saw it. And I want to just get your initial impressions of what you took away from Wakanda Forever.
I really enjoyed the movie. I feel like, for me, it felt like for the most part, it hit a good plateau. And it went the entire time. I was invested 95% of the time. I really enjoyed Namor and how they went with that direction with him. I love that character. I love everything they evolved him into and kind of changed it to being more of like a Mayan civilization instead of like the Atlantis. And, which is always interesting because even though I think he came before Aquaman, there's always been those similarities between the two as well, too.
I think there's a lot of that between like DC and Marvel. There's like similarities.
There's always those kind that was always back in the day. That's kind of how it worked. They would have an answer for another character, that sort of thing. And, Namor is the first mutant in the, Marvel comics. One of the first one or two there. I'm pretty sure the first, but so to be able to have a mutant and then say it out loud again in the big screen was pretty awesome. He was definitely formidable. You can see the shades of anti-heroism in him, which is great. His background was awesome. You get to learn about him. It was very compelling. And then you got some surprises in the movie as well too. You had you had a person or two showed up. You're like, oh, I didn't know that was going to happen.
Right.
That's cool. That was unexpected. But overall, again, I really enjoyed the movie. I think it still hit my expectations. I don't know that it hit the expectation that everybody had necessarily wanted. I think for the most part, everybody's really enjoyed it. I mean, I know like Black Adam had crushed some numbers, and all of a sudden Wakanda came out and recrushed some other numbers and said, okay, well, sit back down, I guess, for now. But yeah, no, I think the biggest issue I had with the movie was really, and we've talked about this, the last 20 minutes, like everything kind of came to a head, and it was very like felt rushed. It felt just kind of like anticlimactic in some ways, and just like there wasn't enough like I mean, you'd already had some like consequences, I guess, in the movie, but it just felt like it just kind of like poofed out a little bit towards the end. Like it was still cool to see some of the characters clash, but I just wanted a little bit more. This is like the Wakandans and originally the Atlanteans, you know, they've been notorious for their warring back and forth. So for me, like, I wanted much more. It should have been bigger. It should have been more. Like, I mean, you had 2 big scenes of it, but I just think it could have been still more. But
Right.
At the end of the day, everything they did for Chadwick was very heartfelt. It was very emotional, even starting it at the beginning. All the things they did, it was done really well. I even think Shuri's direction, her character, and sometimes even the conflicting emotional things they did with her, I thought that was all really well. It just came down to the end was kind of like lackluster. And again, I definitely think I think it's one of the better movies of this phase for sure.
Yeah, no, you know, basically a couple things that you said. You know, it's an emotional. What's that?
Oh, I'm just looking at the ratings up there.
No, it's an emotional story early on, and that carries throughout. Kind of keeps that theme throughout the whole movie. There's multiple scenes where characters are still trying to cope and deal with the loss of T'Challa, and how this country is going to move forward without their leader, so to speak. There's obviously people who stand up and who are trying to assume that role, who try to be a voice for everyone to kind of rally behind. And again, it's an emotional story that's bolstered by a lot of strong performances, especially from those like Angela Bassett, who has an incredible scene.
She was awesome.
With her and Okoye. Winston Duke as M'Baku is really, really good. And then Danai Gurira as Okoye has some really good scenes as well. I mean, there's a lot of great performances.
Dude, the cast around everybody.
Yeah, everybody was very able and
really
up to
good.
it, and they were able to convey that the struggle
M'Baku.
and the of dealing with loss and everything. So I thought that was really, really good. And I want to give credit, you know, to Ryan Coogler, because what he was tasked with in terms of having to juggle so many different themes and storylines, and again, having to balance and address, you know, the passing of Chadwick Boseman and the character of T'Challa, and how they were going to move that forward, how the Black Panther franchise was going to move forward, and ultimately like the overarching MCU. You know, how is this stuff? Because he had to also weave in the whole mutant aspect and Namor. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in this movie, and for the most part, I think he does a really good job. But it's just towards the end, like you mentioned, it feels like the movie just starts to buckle under all of its ambitions, and it doesn't quite stick the landing. Even though there is a nice mid-credit scene that's really, really well done. But again, I'm not going to knock the movie at all for the respect that it's paying and the way it handles certain things. It's just towards the end, like you said, that final battle, I feel like it kind of got a little muddied in terms of the storytelling. But overall, I thought it was a good flick. But, you know, the one thing that stood out is, once again, Marvel continues to run circles around DC and finding that balance between big action set pieces along with strong story development without sacrificing either one of them for the other. So I really feel like they did a great job with that, and they just continue to set the precedent and set the bar high. And then whether or not DC was ever able to like match that, I have no idea. But they just showed again with this movie that they have a better understanding of what fans want.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, like you mentioned, is it Winston that plays M'Baku?
Winston Duke.
Winston Duke. Like he was my favorite in the first Black Panther movie, very honestly, and he got a little extra to this in this movie.
Yeah.
And it showed, I think, as well too. He had a lot of commanding scenes, and the joke, the one joke that he does where he calls Okoye the bald devil. I just love talking about, because it was apparently an ad lib and everybody's gravitated toward it, like being one of the best scenes in the movie.
Yeah.
And it was actually incredible. But I think, you know, and not to get too comparing, because I hate kind of sometimes doing that. But like, for instance, like watching like the Aquaman movie, like I love Jason Momoa, but that fucking movie's terrible to me. Like, it's overly too campy, and that's kind of how DC's a little bit leans into some of that camp. Like,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, sometimes the campiness,
Camp
and the
just
jokes
works in comic book movies. You know, you
yeah,
can, you
and
can
Marvel does it as well too. I just feel like it's usually the flow is better, and not all, because as we've seen with like Thor, sometimes all the jokes don't stick properly.
Yeah.
But like you said, the reveal of his city was a Telecon.
Telecon, yeah.
Was so much different and more like grounded and realistic than like how Atlantis was in for Aquaman in his movie, which I really like. I do believe that it's cool to have this crazy like underwater society that is wild and nuts or whatever like that too, but I like it when it's a little bit more dialed down, like it was in this one. It wasn't overly done well. It was done, excuse me, very well, and just kind of fit their storyline here. So no, overall, I really enjoyed the movie. It was of course, just like anything else. It was a gorgeous movie. I mean, Namor didn't look campy flying around.
Oh, I thought Namor was really well done. I thought Namor looked good.
Such a great character. Like, they really, like, when you can take somebody who's considered a villain and also a character who's sometimes anti-villain and give them such life to the point where you sometimes like you feel like you have a connection with them.
Yeah, whenever you can make a villain relatable in certain ways.
Huge.
Yeah, when their motivation isn't just pure evil, where there's something else behind it, where you're just like, oh man, I kind of get it.
Yep.
You know, when you can do that and you can say, I get it. That's where you do some. That's when you know you've done a really good job at fleshing out a villain.
Some good comments out there. Crash said, I appreciate how Shuri was allowed to feel emotions throughout the movie. Definitely huge. I thought. Most MCU characters have bad shift happen to them, but it never seemed like it actually affects them. That's a great point.
Yeah, it does. You know, you see like, and that's, I feel like that's something that comes from direction and writing. Like when you're sitting there and you tell people, like, you see a character, something horrible happens, and then they just continue to proceed to do what they're doing, and they seem unaffected by it. But there are some movies when you can tell they're still coping with it and they're still dealing with it, and I feel like that's important because it shows that they're vulnerable. It doesn't make them seem like they're just a super, like Neanderthal.
Right.
Like, you got to give them some layers.
Yep. And I know Josh Hill earlier said there was tears involved. Man, I was the same way, dude. Especially some of the opening stuff, bro. Like, it was definitely getting me in them feels. So.
Oh man, the silent title screen.
Oh yeah, that was all that stuff. And yes, Cuddles. I think it's fair to say that Thanos had a perspective, even what he was doing.
Yeah, I mean, look, man. When you take the time to flesh out a villain. And you can't just hate the villain, when you have to stop and sit there and think sometimes, like, oh shit, I can see why he's pissed.
Yep.
But then then they do enough where you're just like, okay, he's still got to get killed because he's a total fucking monster, and we can't have that. But overall, man, I liked the movie. I thought it was a good Marvel movie. I thought it was a good Black Panther movie. I don't think it's better than the first one. But I feel like all things considered and what they set out to do and what they were trying to accomplish with it, I feel like they got it. They landed most of it. But yeah, the ending kept it from being like a true masterpiece in the MCU because there was a lot going into this one. There was a lot of high expectations, and it'll vary from person to person whether or not it was able to hit those expectations. Some people fucking love it. Other people look at it from different perspectives, like, not quite. I haven't heard of too many people that say they hate it other than Cuddles, who gave it a 4 out of 10, even though he hasn't seen it. I still respect Cuddles. Very, very, very.
He rates everything 4 out of 10.
Bizarre opinion. The last scene hit me the most because of the old shots with Chadwick and Shuri. Also love the little nods here and there, the handshake. Yes. I do wish we could get more of the telecon. Yeah, that would have been nice. And again, I feel like that was like the part of the issue with it is because the movie is 2 hours and 40 minutes. Okay? And the ending felt rushed. Dude, they can't have this be a 3.5 hour movie because all of a sudden you lose ticket sales. You lose, how many times you can show the movie during the day. So, I mean, at some point, you got to be like, okay, we got to wrap this thing up. I'm sure there's more. And maybe they'll do a director's cut. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a longer version that'll come out. But it did just feel like towards the end, there's some stuff that I wish they could have explored a little bit more or may have just done something completely different. But time constraints play a big factor in that.
I thought it was interesting how the Talokan members looked like two different things. If you've ever played like Tekken 2 or 3 and used Ogre, or Kotal Khan in Mortal Kombat, like they all just looked. I mean, those characters are based on those civilizations, so it makes sense. It just was funny because like the one big dude, I'm like, Jesus, is that Kotal Khan? Like, what the fuck? Fucking Mortal Kombat up here. It's pretty wild. But no, I think that for where it's at, and we're gonna talk about it momentarily to help kind of close out the phase of 4 here.
Fuck it, Tone. Nice segue. Let's get to that. Let's get to the next topic. Obviously, phase 4 has now come to completion,
which was technically ended by the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
That's right, the Guardians of the Galaxy
Technically.
holiday special, which I have not watched yet.
And
Shame
I
on me.
call that out because you're a piece of shit.
I was wondering why you brought that. I was like, man, I don't remember that
Just so
being
I
a
can
part of the
do it.
actual phase.
So I can do it.
I appreciate that. But Tone, we have 7 movies
Yes.
that we have to look at here. We have to Spider-Man: No Way Home.
And we're just talking movies. We're not getting into TV
we're not.
shows.
Well, that's probably one of the discussions we'll have with Brandy and Steve when we can get back over
we'll
there.
bring in the
Is
whole
really
plate.
dive into this entire Marvel
Yes.
phase, including the TV shows and how it's all connected,
Yes.
and what hits and what doesn't. So, but right now we're just talking specifically the movies: Spider-Man: No Way Home, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Shang-Chi, Wakanda Forever, Eternals, Thor: Ragnarok, and Black Widow. Tone.
Yeah.
These are 7 movies that came out this year. All of them different in certain ways, but there's a lot of similarities between them as well in terms of
Sure.
the way they play out and how they start and finish and where they take place in the overarching scheme of this particular phase going forward, phase 4, 5, and whatever else is down the road.
Yep.
I mean, look, dude, I know you have different thoughts on each of these movies, but how would you rank these movies
Individually, out of like 1 to 10, 1 to
1
5?
to 7?
What the fuck is that?
That's only 7 movies that came out in this phase.
Yeah, I know, but do you want me to rank them like against each other, or am I just like, okay, I give Spider-Man this ranking, I give this one this ranking?
Rank
Okay.
them from best to worst. There you go.
No, wait, I don't want it to. Oh, fuck. I thought I was going to do a number for each one.
Well, you want to do like an actual score?
Yeah. Like, I want to do a number like I
You can do that. I'm going to rank mine 1 to 7.
Okay, that's fair.
You do your way, I'll do my way.
That's going to be hard. Yeah, that's going to be too much for me. Spider-Man, I'm going to give it 10.
Oh, 10? Holy shit. Okay.
And maybe more 9.5, 9.75, but it just hit too many nostalgia things for me, and out of all these was the most emotional because it brought back, Toby and things of that nature. So,
Sure.
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, I'm going to give a solid. I really, really enjoyed that movie. I'm going to give that like a solid 7.75 out of 10. I'm doing out of 10 here.
Okay.
Shang-Chi, I feel like that really blew my expectations out of the water. I think that's like an 8.25.
Oh, wow, we're going down to 0.25s. Okay.
Yeah, might as well. Fuck it, right? If I'm going to 10. Let's see. Wakanda Forever. That's probably a good. Oh man, that's tough. I'm gonna say probably like a 7.75, 7.5, 8 as well. Eternals. While I liked it more than most people, I still think that there's a lot of issues with it that I understand. So I think like a 7's fair for that movie. Maybe a 6.5.
Mm-hmm.
Thor Ragnarok. That's 4.55.
Really?
I think for me.
Okay.
And then Black Widow is like a fucking 3.
Jeez.
The I can't get past
Taskmaster
at all.
Yeah,
It ruined the entire fucking movie for me because they shit on that fucking villain so bad. So because there's a lot of great things in it. Because Florence Pugh is absolutely incredible in it.
Oh, she's so good.
But I mean, the movie just felt out of place and a little late, and just I couldn't. Yeah.
Well, I think that's fair, and I think your sentiments are shared with a lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of folks that feel very strongly about Thor Ragnarok, as well as Eternals. It's very divisive there.
I agree, Jay.
But little did we know that as you were reading them off, that's the rankings how I have mine going from best to worst. Spider-Man: No Way Home, number 1. Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness, number 2.
Oh, that's interesting.
Shang-Chi, number 3. Wakanda Forever, number 4. Eternals, number 5. I actually liked Eternals.
Yeah.
Thor Ragnarok was just Love and Thunder was not even close to Thor Ragnarok in terms of like its quality and whatnot. And then Black Widow, I felt was definitely the thank you, Jay. I forgot Thor, Love and Thunder. That's how much I just like the movie. I don't remember the title of it.
I didn't realize that's how your ranking was set up. I didn't. Yeah, that's fine. That's kind of really.
I'm like, man, this is some foreshadowing.
That's random as fuck. And Ragnarok is something I will watch consistently.
Oh, all the time, dude. All the time.
But I don't think I've rewatched Love and Thunder quite yet.
But I'm not fucking around with Love and Thunder. And then Black Widow was the weakest out of all of them. I just couldn't get into it, man. I just it felt just like a half-assed effort. Even though I did like David Harbour in that, I thought he was great.
Florence Pugh.
And Florence Pugh and everybody. But it was just like I felt like that should have been more closer to Winter Soldier in quality. It should have been like this awesome espionage show. But it definitely didn't hit that mark. Crash ranked his No Way Home Wakanda Forever,
Okay.
Shang-Chi,
Okay, yeah,
Multiverse of Madness, Eternals, Black Widow, and Love and Thunder.
Fair enough.
Crash says,
That's
"Fuck
a
Love
fair.
and
That's
Thunder."
very. You know, Jay, you mentioned about because I agree with that, and this is something that when we were at Coy's a couple months ago during the great debate about the phase. That's how I feel about it too. Phase 4 is a transitional phase.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's setting up for the bigs, including the TVs, and then we'll dive deep into that hopefully when we talk to Brandy and Steve about this as well too. I think we'll get into that a little bit as well, because we even did after when we couldn't record that night. We still kind of continued some of that conversation.
Oh yeah, I mean we were there for like 2 hours, dude. Just
fucking hanging out and drinking. And honestly, I think Phase 4 is just like I think the problem is we're coming off again, of the big Thanos arc and everything going on there. So your expectations are here, but we just reset everything, right? I mean, everything's kind of got to build there. Like I keep saying, the early phases of Marvel in 2008 walked more in a line, whereas these ones are coming at you in like a horizontal line because the playing field's much bigger now because we have different licensing, we have D+ to use, a lot more going on. So you're introducing a lot more characters because you're gonna need them for the when we get to like the quantum what is the fucking
Quantumania?
Yeah, or not Quantumania, excuse
Quantum
me.
Realm.
The Kang Dynasty and
Kang,
things like that, because it's going to be the way I look at it in comparison is look at Endgame when before everybody starts fighting, you see the big the Talocan. God, I'm getting everything all fucked up. It's the fucking beer. I'm blaming
beer,
the beer,
baby.
So good. When all the mages show up and everybody from the Tarmakaj, I'm fucking it all up. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
And you've got like 75 generic dudes, and then like for every 75 generic dudes, you get one hero, right?
Right.
So think of it when we get to that later phase, when it's that time for that, having the multiverse war, you want named people,
not
like
just
big
random
people,
dudes,
right? You want the Daredevils, you want the Miss Marvels, you want the She-Hulks, you want the Moon Knights, things of that nature. So it's just they got to tell the story different because it is going to be a transitional phase where they're introducing everybody and setting it up. So but I digress. I know we talked.
Cuddles ranked his Spider-Man, Shang-Chi, Black Widow. Wow, Black Widow 3. Eternals, Thor, Doctor Strange. Had not seen Wakanda yet.
Fair enough. Okay.
That's interesting. See? Black Widow is high up on that list.
Spider-Man keeps hitting everybody's top though.
Strange definitely felt. I knew Strange was gonna be low.
He's not a fan.
He's not a fan. Let's see what else we got here. Tricky says, I love Shang-Chi. One for me.
Yeah,
Shang-Chi's number one for Trick. I know he's a huge fan, and I am too, man. I think Shang-Chi's an awesome movie.
Very, very, and I know as an anime fan, that's what it hits me for too. It just felt like a live-action, super awesome anime film, but was also just good characters and an enjoyable story. Like, it was unlike anything we had really seen in the MCU at that point as well too.
Right.
And it was the second movie in this phase to kind of kick it off, especially after how Eternals didn't get people's excitement moving. It was a good movie to kind of have as number 2 for that.
Carlos says, I love Shang-Chi in theater, but watching it home and lost some love for me for a tad. Really? What is it just because of the presentation? Obviously, you got the big dragon fight at the end. It probably looks and sounds better on the big screen. It probably loses some of that luster on the small screen. Tricky ranks his Shang-Chi, Strange, Spider-Man, Thor, Widow. Haven't seen BP yet.
Okay.
I don't know. It was just so good the first time I watched it. That's fair. That's fair, man. Like I said, once you remove the shock and awe and the wow factor, and then you watch, you're just like, oh, okay, it's cool.
Man, that battle.
That final battle is fucking
nuts.
It's
fucking crazy.
It's so good.
So cool.
So we want to get your thoughts though. If you're watching this on YouTube or listening on Spotify, check on the Spotify. There's a question. We'll have that. How would you rank the Phase 4 movies? Make sure you sound off. Or if you're watching on YouTube, let us know in the comments. Rank Phase 4. We want to see what you guys and girls think. I'm waiting for the Snyder Cut of Phase 4. Well, Blanco, let us know how that works out for you.
Let us know, buddy.
Let us know how that works. Let's see what J-Ho. What's your biggest shock of this?
Good question.
Phase?
He's really good at this. Remember,
he knows
he's
he's high as fuck right now. Is probably what it is,
Yeah,
and I dig that about him. He gets super insightful when he's high.
What is the biggest shock of this phase? And that includes D+, right?
I'll give you a little something to help you think this up.
Yeah. Oh, Daddy, give me some of that good lovin's. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Oh, you just need this to last us for the rest of the show.
Great. Man, biggest shock. Reed Richards reveal. That's actually
the reveal and the the
Yeah,
fate of Reed
yeah,
Richards
yeah.
was probably the biggest shock for me.
Yeah, I think because that's also a fan pick and that
Mhm.
actually came to fruition, even though he's probably not going to play him in the new movie, he's just a variant of him. I definitely think that, yeah, that's definitely a big one, man. God, I don't. I feel like the stuff that happened in Spider-Man, I knew was coming. It
Right.
was just such nostalgic that I just really enjoyed it.
Cutlass's Miss Marvel was his. Is that a bit or is that real?
No, he actually really likes that. Yeah, the series is incredible. I don't know if you finished it. Did you?
I did finish it.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
Yep.
Miss Marvel was really good.
You had to tell me about the end credits scene, remember? Because I
Oh yeah, you skipped through
I,
that. That's right. That's
I
right.
missed it
You're a dum-dum.
completely.
Yeah. Yeah, the Reed and Xavier I think was huge too. Biggest shock, man. I don't. That's tough. Man, I'm gonna kind of like go on a limb on a little bit of this. I think, but I think a lot of it for me because those are great big shocks and like those are incredible because I have a hard time thinking of anything different. But I'm gonna kind of say the Loki series.
Ooh, yeah, there's some good
Overall,
stuff in
because
Loki.
like I mean, we had got WandaVision, which was really awesome. I really enjoyed WandaVision, and that kind of put some things in place to kind of get things going. But what really happened in Loki is what really is creating the trajectory completely to where we're going. It is the I think the true like kickoff point for everything going in this coming phase. And he who
Oh, yeah.
remains showing up at the end
Yeah.
as a variant of Kang and everything like that. And his death and how that made it so now all the timelines just kind of like open up because again that links to Spider-Man, that links to Doctor Strange too. It just opened up so much of a playing field. So I think overall just kind of like how good the Loki series was
Yeah.
and how much of a backdrop and a spine it is to this phase and that we kind of sometimes forget that.
I won't say it's a shock. I would say it was like oh my god, that is so good. Was Moon Knight episode 4 where it goes really off the rails like crazy like that. For me, it was like I wouldn't say it was a shock, but I was just kind of like so like blown away by like
Yeah.
how deep they had gone with that show compared to what we've seen in the first couple
Yeah.
episodes. When we got to Phase 4, that shit was just mind blowing nuts, dude. And I thought that was incredible and really well done. How they explored how trauma and stuff like that can have an effect on a person. Never mind. I changed it to how bad they revealed Hulk's.
Fucking terrible.
Oh,
Scar
yeah.
looked like fucking like he should be a Fortnite character. Like
that was really
damn.
bad, dude.
Yeah, dude. What the? Yeah, the haircut was a shot. Yeah.
That's we didn't say good or bad shock. We just
Yeah.
said shock.
Yeah. No. I just think Loki overall really blew my expectations of that show out of the water. It was done so well. Really enjoyed it.
Man, I tell you, I am still really excited for Secret Invasion. Like I really.
Because what I'm hoping for is we're gonna get that like Winter Soldier
That's
taste.
exactly the vibe I got from it. It's like, so I'm
Exactly.
really hoping for is
Yup.
that more grounded, like heavy stuff, like espionage and
Yeah, man.
and the grittier side of things. Like I just
Yeah.
really hope
Yeah.
that's what we're getting with that show.
That's got potential to be really dope.
Trailer looked fucking sweet. So,
Mhm.
but those are our thoughts on that. Like I said, we'll dive into this a little bit deeper the next time we're able to get over to Koi's Comics and hang out with Brandy and Steve and really get their thoughts on stuff. But no, we want to hear your thoughts. Let us know in the comments or on Spotify. Rank the series and let us know what you thought of WakandaForever. We want to get you guys and girls' thoughts on all that stuff. So make sure you sound off. Tone,
Yeah.
Time to move on to our second movie review.
Well, goodness gracious.
We were a little concerned, little. We came into this cautiously optimistic.
Yes.
Very cautiously optimistic. There was some things in play here that made me think maybe it won't be a total disaster. HBO backing it, Peter Billingsley's in it, and then you've got the director of the Santa Chronicles or whatever it was with Kurt Russell, guy who has understanding of holiday spirit, all this stuff, and obviously it's another sequel. There was two other ones, Summer Story and A Christmas Story 2, which were just fucking terrible movies, and then we see A Christmas Story Christmas, but like some of these other shows and movies that have brought back legacy characters and found a way to continue their story in a meaningful way, that's part of the reason why I was like, okay, look, this is a big thing, man. This is a big theme that a lot of shows and movies are tackling, all because of Cobra Kai, and the way that these shows are continuing to build on this. That's why I came into this with cautiously optimistic. I was like, okay, look, I have hope for this. And Tone, after sitting down and watching this, let's just be blunt right now. this movie was never going to replace or even challenge A Christmas Story. This was never meant to dethrone that movie. Never. And I don't think anybody in their right mind would have expected that from this movie.
Right.
What this is a nice little follow-up. It's a nice little follow-up that lets us know, that brings us up to speed on Ralphie, Flick, and Schwartz, you know, and Scott Farkas, and a lot of the characters that we watched as kids that we related to. You related to Scott Farkas because you were a bully. I related to Ralphie because I was cute and awesome, and, you know, I just wanted a goddamn gun for Christmas. But, like, there's just so many things as a child that we related to in that movie. And I think this works out doubly for us because this movie focuses on Ralphie as an adult, not only coping with the loss of the old man, which, again, there are some scenes in this movie as this is a PG movie, okay? And there are some scenes where there is some cheesiness, okay? There's some really campy scenes, some like kind of like, oh, okay, but it's PG. They're aiming at a particular audience. They're aiming at kids for a lot of this stuff, but it's also nostalgic for us in certain ways. They do a good job at, like, kind of a little nostalgia. He goes up in the attic. You see the bunny outfit. We see the lamp. So, I mean, there's also other things throughout the movie. The interactions between Flick and Schwartz. There's just things that you're just like, oh, yeah, I'm glad to see these guys are still fighting again. And the way, you know, but here's the thing that I really liked about it, man. Like, look, I have said it several times. The dad is one of my favorite parts of A Christmas Story. Especially as I've grown up from being a fan of Ralphie and a kid that I can relate to just watching that movie more and more and seeing how the dad conducts himself and the things that he's doing, and you really see how much he wants to give his kids a good Christmas. You're just like, man, I can fucking relate to that too. I can relate to A Christmas Story my entire life. There's every character I can relate to at some point.
That's part of the charm.
And so when this comes out, we're watching it, and at the beginning, it starts off actually pretty sad. Like Peter Billingsley actually does a really good job in this movie.
Yeah.
He is he's actually got some pretty good range for a child actor. He does a lot of directing now, but in the scenes that require some heavy lifting, he does a really good job in this movie.
Yeah.
And again, this movie, much like the original Christmas Story, it rides on Ralphie. Everything is totally dependent on Ralphie, whether you can relate to him, his performance, how endearing he is, and he keeps a lot of the traits that we knew of Ralphie and we loved about Ralphie as a kid. His daydreaming is still there.
Yeah, I love that.
And his desire to just have a great Christmas. Dude was in the MCU, so you know he can act. Absolutely. You don't get into the MCU if you can't act. I think, right? Is there anybody that has never been?
Let's not talk about it.
Okay, all right. I'm just saying. But you know, and I feel like the legacy characters again are handled really well. Like I said, the bantering between Flick and Schwartz. Scott Farkas has a really cool character arc in this movie. Yeah. You know, they could have gone a number of ways that could have been like really half-assed, but they did a lot to really flesh things out, pay the respect to the dad. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, man. At the end of the movie, there's a scene where a problem is resolved. I got teary-eyed. I got choked up, man, because it was just like, I get it. You know, that's the biggest thing. And that's when a movie, I can relate to a movie and I can just understand the motivations behind somebody or something that just defines a character and defines who they are. I got choked up, man. Like, I just like, it's just a well-done movie. Now, look, again, this will not, it probably won't make my yearly rotation of Christmas movies, especially with some of the ones coming up. Violent Night this week with David Harbour. Next week, we'll talk about another one that we got a trailer for. There's a lot of Christmas movies that have done well lately. Fat Man, Bad Santa. You know, you got all these other movies that are just really fucking awesome, funny, or violent, scary Christmas movies. Now, this one, again, I don't think it's a bad movie. It's not going to make my main rotation, but I tell you what, man, if I'm ever sitting around and it comes on TV and it's Christmas time, and I just got done watching A Christmas Story 600 times in one day, I'll go ahead and watch this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, Die Hard, don't get me wrong. I love Die Hard. Absolutely. That's part of my yearly rotation of movies. But this one won't be in it, but it's not a bad movie. No. I thought it was just a nice follow-up, and that's all it was aiming to be.
Right.
So if you get a chance to watch it, let us know what you think, especially if you're a fan. I have a feeling that this is why Brandy and Steve might have got sick this week, because I heard Brandy has just an awful, awful take on A Christmas Story.
Right. She does.
And I think that's why they
maybe that's the actual reason.
I think, you know what, they probably knew we were going to talk about that.
Yeah.
And then Steve was like, "Oh, I'll wear a mask." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Ugh." And she's like,
I'm
"Oh, well, we can't be on." She thinks that I'll forget about this.
I'm embarrassed by this. And
She thinks
but
I'll
he's a
forget
fan.
about this.
He's
But
a
next
fan.
time we do a show there, I'm putting her on
Yeah.
the spot right there. What the fuck is wrong with the Christmas Story?
Right, absolutely. And I don't really have a whole lot of other things to say outside of what you did. I felt like that. I mean, you covered exactly. I think I even said that at the beginning. I said I think we lined completely on that one. Like, I enjoyed the movie. It was heartfelt. Like you said, it's PG. There's a reason why you know who they're targeting. It wasn't as funny maybe as the first, but I think we got different perspectives. We're adults now, and I think it's you got to have
my
realistic
kids think it's hilarious.
Yeah, that's great. And you got to have realistic expectations when you are reviving these kind of franchises. Because as we've seen, there's a lot of things these days that have raised that bar. And hey, it's a great addition to that. It just kind of works. It might not be as iconic or as memorable as the first one, but like you said, it might not be in your Christmas rotation, but it might come up and you're gonna be fine on it.
Once in a great while,
okay.
my kids will be watching the first one.
Yeah.
Like, "Hey, Dad, can we watch the one with the older Ralphie?" I'm like, "Oh, I guess we're watching
I definitely think it's worth the watch. And if you're a fan of the original, you'll probably at least enjoy this as almost like an update. I will say, if you don't like the original movie, well.
I don't know what's wrong with you, Brandy.
I don't know.
Not to target anybody specifically, but
oh man,
Brandy, my goodness, I'm really gonna need a detailed, thorough explanation as to why you hate.
Oh,
she doesn't dislike it; she hates it.
She hates it.
How do you hate a Christmas Story, dude? Next thing you know, she hates Charlie Brown Christmas.
Maybe.
Seriously, man. You got some splaining to do.
Yep.
Can't wait to hear her thoughts on that.
Mm.
All right, Tone, we talked about trailers. We got 3 trailers tonight. 3 trailers. Now, the first one, before we get into the holiday theme stuff, we're going to talk about a trailer that dropped yesterday. Again, this is a movie that has a very fan base is split right now. Oh, jeez. Oh, wow. He's coming in hot already. All right.
Yeah.
Let's check out the full-on. We've only got a teaser. Now we got a full-on trailer for Super Mario Bros. The movie.
Oh.
Not sure if you know who I am, but I'm about to rule the world.
Wow, yay.
But there's one problem. There's a human, has a mustache, just like you.
Do you think I know every human being with a mustache wearing an identical outfit with a hat with the letter of his first name on it? Because I don't.
Bowser is coming. Together, we are going to stop that monster.
How? Look at us. We're adorable.
Oh, I got this. No problem.
Yes! Come on, Mario! Our big adventure begins now!
Ah! Get it off! Get it off! Get it off!
There's a huge universe out there.
Whoa.
With a lot of galaxies. They're all counting on us. No pressure.
All right, Tone. So we got our full-on trailer where we got to hear more of Chris Pratt. We got to hear a lot of Charlie Day. We got to hear more of Jack Black. We got to hear who's doing the voice for Peach?
I was going to ask you that.
I do not know who's doing the voice for Peach.
forgot.
But look, man. I think this looks good.
I think the
I'm
movie
in.
looks awesome.
Yeah, I think it
Like,
looks good.
Yeah, it looks fucking great. It really does.
We were talking about when the trailer was playing. I mean, there's some nods to like Smash Bros. There's nods,
Dude.
obviously Mario Kart.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not even a nod. That's just a direct, hey, look, this is Mario Kart. No, I think this looks good, man. I know there's people that like are upset about Chris Pratt. I don't when they said Chris Pratt was in, I was like, well, I mean, is that the best they could do? I mean, it is, and Anna Taylor-Joy. That's who that is, and she's amazing, by the way. But like, I don't hate it. You know, I think he sounds fine. I'm just there to see how funny this is, and it looks like it's awesome. Everyone else I love. Jack Black. I mean, all these guys sound great. I'm there for the movie. I think it looks entertaining.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see it. I'm definitely excited about it. I mean, it's a fucking Mario movie we've not had in a long time. You know, they've had some success with Sonic, and this is, you know, not live action clearly, but I can't get past the Pratt thing. It's really off putting. And Jay Hill mentioned it too. He's like, I'm hesitant because they haven't really showed Pratt talking much, and he's right. They've
It's
kept
just little
that.
blurbs when you get
And
them.
like he's like, all right, let's go. It's just like, what the fuck is that? Like, I mean, I think the point is like this is early Mario. Like, I feel like
Sure.
they're kind of Mario's learning the ropes, but really, is Pratt the best we can do? Like Mario, like listen, this is like bringing in Chris Pratt. What's he gonna do? Vader when fucking James Earl Jones dies too?
Yeah.
Like, this is an iconic voice. Like,
What would you
I
have rather
know-
had, Chris Pratt or Bob Hoskins?
Bob Hoskins all fucking day.
Oh, okay. All right.
Bob
Just curious.
Hoskins is great.
Yeah.
Because he would have been Gruffy or shit, Captain Lou Albano. I'd have fucking take him too, like from the fucking Mario Super Show. I love that shit. But yeah, I can't get past it. I know some people, I think you even mentioned too, like, could we really listen to Mario's voice for 2 hours or whatever it is?
I see that I couldn't do.
See, I
couldn't do that.
I don't know. Like, I just feel like that wouldn't bother me because it wouldn't be constantly talking. Clearly, he's not constantly talking here. They're
Yeah,
trying
but
to
I'm
hide
saying if he
Pratt.
gets to a scene like Jay Hill says, you know, he's not sure because he hasn't heard, you know, Chris Pratt talking a lot. If you get to a scene where there is a lot of exposition or talking, do you really want to hear that Mario voice and long monologues or stuff like that? I don't know if I could listen to that, dude. I would want to have somebody who has a little bit more.
Well,
range
unfortunately,
with their
we
voice.
won't know because we got Chris fucking Pratt doing Mario and not
Yeah.
somebody. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't feel like that this is going to be like some dialogue heavy thing. I think most of that at least seems like so far at least it was with Bowser's side of it. And this
Yeah.
is going to be Bowser's my favorite character in the Mario universe. So this is going to be one of the first times I really actually hope he wins. But I don't know.
hope he eats Mario and kills his whole family.
If they're looking for dialogue and they want somebody, I think it's just they're attaching a name to it, and I think
Yeah.
that's part of the problem.
Just to be able to put Chris Pratt on the headline.
Yeah, and I hate when they do that shit, and I feel like that's kind of what's going on here. And again, you can't tell me out of the amount of people that live on the earth, we couldn't have found somebody that could at least try to sound a little Mario-esque instead of like a Wahoo one or two here or there. Like, we could have done a little bit better than that. And I think it's going to be hard for some of us to get past that. I'm still going to go see it. It's not going to deter me from seeing it, but I'm going to guarantee when I'm done seeing the movie, I'm gonna be like, yeah, that movie was great except for Chris Pratt.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. No. I think it looks funny. I think it looks entertaining. My kids were fucking hyped to see it. So Bobcat Goldthwait is Mario. You know, I'm trying to picture that. I don't know,
Picture
man.
Police Academy. The bongos.
I forgot he's in Police Academy.
Dude. One of my like 2 or 3 favorite characters. I love, of course, Jonesy's my favorite, but Tackleberry's my second
Tackleberry's
favorite.
awesome. I like Spackler, who's always just kind of like running into
Yeah.
shit, just kind of a goofball. And dude, it was hilarious. My buddy and I were talking about the other night. I love I can't remember his name, but the cop who's always punching his dad. Him and his dad always getting into fights and shit.
yeah, shit. Yeah, that's funny.
Tackleberry dates his sister, and then they go to dinner
Yeah.
one night at her parents' house,
Mhm.
and they were just sitting at the table, and the son just
Just-
punched the dad. He's like, "Oh, that was a good one."
Yeah. Fucking Tackleberry.
Yeah, that God, what a great series, man. Police Academy movies. They kind of lost a little bit towards the end, but man, 1 through I'd say 4 were pretty fucking
Pretty peak.
consistent. So, but yeah, that's our thoughts on Super Mario Brothers. The movie drops on April 7th next year. Want to get you guys and girls' thoughts. If you think the trailer looks good, if you're hyped about it, if you're really just gonna puke in your fucking popcorn when you hear Chris Pratt talking, "It's a me" or trying to do a Mario voice.
It's about the kids anyways. It really don't matter.
It's
what
all
we
about
think.
the kids,
It doesn't
man.
matter what we think
It's all
at the
about
end
the
of
kids. What's not for the kids though is these next 2 trailers. Definitely not for the kids.
That's subjective.
I mean, my kids will watch it because
You're a
I'm a
scumbag.
fucking loser ass dad.
Yeah.
But now look, this next trailer, this movie drops next week on digital and Shudder, and it's from director Joe Begos, who did VFW. Okay, now VFW is a movie that you and I really enjoyed. What you saw in the trailer is what you got in the movie. It set the expectations right away. It was one of those movies that you would watch on Saturday, USA, up all night.
Man.
On Saturday nights at like 12 o'clock at night. And it was just, over the top, ridiculous, absurd, but just had this just a charming way about
Yeah,
it.
man.
This is from director Joe Begos, and this is called Christmas, Bloody Christmas.
The U.S. Defense Department has spent over $1 trillion on the most cutting-edge robot technology, introducing RoboSanta Plus for the upcoming holiday season.
What are you gonna do this fine Christmas Eve?
I was potentially gonna go meet up with a dude. I've blown him off twice already, so.
Come on, get a drink with your old pal Robbie.
What's up with you two?
Just grabbing a drink.
I talk her out of some Tinder trash.
You didn't talk me out of anything.
Christmas!
Bah humbug.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
New animatronic state-of-the-art Santa Claus, featured at our own TW Bunkers, is now the subject of an international recall.
Santa?
What? This guy killed the kid next door!
Oh, shit!
Do you hear that?
Or what?
You need to give me a gun.
What is that?
It's him.
Oh, Santa Claus?
Yeah, it's fucking
Santa
Claus.
Claus!
Have you heard from the boys down at the scene yet?
They're still down there counting bodies.
Oh, I'm sold. Don't even give me that look. Fuck that. I am sold. That's like fucking Terminator shit. Yeah, fuck yeah.
When the beginning of the trailer says when the Defense Department has spent billions
Fuck,
of
dude.
dollars on Robo
Fuck.
Santa, I was like, okay, yeah, this is fucking absurd,
I am
and I'm
game.
here for it,
Yep.
dude.
Fuck yeah.
And dude, 81 minutes doesn't overstay its welcome.
whatever.
Just gets to the point. Santa killing people, and I'm just like, all right, dude, I'm in it, dude. I'm in it. I bet the ho ho gets old in the first 20. Hey man, that means there's only 60 minutes left.
Right.
I'm
and
cool with that.
They have Chris Pratt doing it, so it's all good.
You ever see Class of '99? Looks like the teachers. No, like I said, man, this is just a certain type. This is a niche type of movie. But when it's done right, it's one of those ones where you're just like, this one could easily sneak its way into the rotation. If it obviously it's not taking itself seriously at all. But if it's fun, and obviously we saw practical effects, the guy's head getting stepped on the stairs. It looked fake, which I'm cool with because looking fake is better than looking that's not even real.
Yeah, the CG shit.
I'm on board with this, dude. I
can
think this
yeah.
looks fucking awesome. I'll definitely be watching it next week. I'll definitely be talking about it on December 16th when we do our regular show, our final regular show of the year. I think we do have some plans for like a Christmas something going on that day. We're working on the details on that, but dude, this looked fucking awesome.
I'm ready.
It'll be available on Shudder and digital. So if you subscribe to Shudder, it'll be available on 12/9. I'm buying it, and I'm gonna watch it with my kids and be like, "This is what happens when you're bad."
Yeah.
When you don't listen to me, you get Robo Santa. The Defense Department has spent billions of dollars.
You know that NORAD you track? Yeah.
This is the guy who they're tracking.
Right.
They want to know where he's at. I like how the second Mario Brothers trailer came out. Now everyone is on, oh, Chris Pratt isn't that bad in this. Oh, okay. All right. On to the final trailer. This one dropped yesterday. And before we jump to conclusions on this. Now, look, this is not a high-budget trailer. Doesn't look like it's a high-budget movie. It's a low-budget movie. But it got picked up by XYZ Films. They're a studio that backs a lot of like random, more niche stuff, like stuff that's like really unique and whatnot. I don't know if you ever saw The Platform on Netflix, where the prison cell with the platform goes up and down. They picked that up. They picked up Mandy, Brawl, and Cell Block 99 with Vince Vaughn, which is fucking incredible. Mom and Dad with Nick Cage, Tusk, Kevin Smith's Tusk, and The Raid. So, I mean, these guys have an eye for, they know a good movie when they see. Now, look, again, this is very low budget, but I'm actually super intrigued by The Mean One.
Remember that story about Cindy You-Know-Who? When her Christmas was stolen, she knew what to do.
Why, Santa Claus? Why?
But what if I said that's not how it went down?
You gonna be okay? Because we can turn around right now.
No. Poor girl. Her mother was killed. Her mind snapped.
Did you ever find the Christmas killer?
Never got a reliable description of the man.
Dad? Dad! He is out there! What if the Christmas killer is back?
This town cannot go through another Christmas killer thing. Not again.
Us folks down in Newville, we liked Christmas a lot. But that thing that lives just north of Newville does not.
What is it?
The mean one. He's slippery, he's elusive. He's a mean one, that mister.
I'm not gonna be a victim anymore. Time to roast this beast. You're a dead one, mister.
I'm, you know, there's this thing right now that's going on where people are getting hold of these properties of predominantly children stuff and just getting fucking twisted with it. And you know what? I'm cool with that.
I'm here for it, man.
You know, we saw the Blood and Honey. We know that those same people are doing a Peter Pan, dark twisted Peter Pan movie. Now we have this Grinch movie where people are getting killed. We do not have Cocaine Bear, Mr. Blanco. We wanted to get it. We just didn't have time to do it. We'll have that in the Discord for all y'all to watch. Wanted to see that. Wanted to air that, but we were not able to get to that. But no, this movie looks, you know, I'm gonna watch it, man.
I'm still gonna watch it.
I mean, I'm sure it's terrible. I'm sure it's terrible. But if it's self-aware and it's clever in certain ways, I'm okay with it.
They said somebody said something about doing it for $400, and
that's what
doing it on cell phone.
They paid no more than $400 to make this. I mean, it does look, it's like incredibly low budget. But look, if XYZ Films is getting behind it, they wanted to pick it up, they wanted to publish it and distribute it. Clearly, they think they have something here. They think there's something about this movie that'll appeal to an audience.
Or the time of year.
And yeah, they're really just banking on it. So this shit looks sci-fi 2003 bad. It does, man. It looks bad, but hey, man, if you want to make the Grinch a fucking real scumbag and he's killing people, I you know, my curiosity is just.
I know.
It's always gonna take over.
And no, Jim Carrey is not reprising his role. And we did find out that there's not a lot of spoken dialogue from the character Grinch in this, but apparently Chris Pratt's doing the voice. So there's that.
He did the motion capture.
Yeah.
So we want to get you guys and girls' thoughts. This comes out in the trailer. It's at 12/9 on IMDb and some other outlets. It said 12/15. So conflicting reports on when this will be out. I'd love it if it's out next week if I can watch this and Christmas Bloody Christmas along with Violent Night that drops opens up tomorrow in theaters everywhere.
Man.
Reviewing very well, sitting at about 80-85% on Rotten Tomatoes. And the one thing that I love that people have been saying about, a lot of reviewers say, it is horribly gory. Like,
awesome.
It is ultra fucking violent the way he's killing people in this. So I'm like,
gnarly.
I'm on board, dude.
Yeah.
Fat Man has set a precedence. Krampus has set a precedence for horror and action, like violence in a holiday themed movie. I'm here for all of it,
Yeah,
dude.
it's time that year to watch Fat Man. Actually,
We watched that the other night. Actually,
Did ya?
Watched Fat Man. It's so good. I know
Fat
Prime was watching
Man!
it again. Krampus did it, but I love Krampus, man. I think Krampus is a fucking. He's a Krampus. I think Krampus is fucking sweet too, man. I really enjoyed it. You guys ever see Rare Exports? I have seen Rare Exports. I actually own that. It's actually a pretty fucking twisted ass movie. It's where was it made? Was it Sweden or was it Norwegian? I can't remember where it takes place. It's one of those two, but it is a fucking dark movie. Like, it is really dark. And I really liked it. Rare Exports is criminally underrated. So those are our trailers, Tone. Those are the movies that we got coming up that piqued our interest. We want to get you guys and girls' thoughts. Are there any holiday like gore fest or low budget holiday Christmas movies, whatever coming up that you're interested in? Let us know your thoughts. We want to know what they are because we want to watch them. We want to check them out. We're all about that fucked up stuff because
Santa Shark.
We're fucked up. Thank you so much for following me. Like, oh my God, like I'm your uncle. What? What's his name? Following like I'm your uncle. Oh, okay.
I can get down on that.
That's fucking hot. I dig that one.
Yeah,
I dig that one. All right, Tom, we got a couple of shows that we have to discuss here. First up, let's get into the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about what is, in my opinion, the best Star Wars storytelling we've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, this is all. I mean, now look, I have now watched all the Rebels and Clone Wars cartoons, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else that I've seen, this was the best Star Wars storytelling I've encountered.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not going to get too much into spoilers, Crash. This is spoiler free.
Spoiler free.
But this is seriously Finland. All right, I knew it was somewhere icy. But no, this series, Tone, I mean, we've said it every time we talk about it. The writing, the performances, the fact that it doesn't have to rely on Jedis and lightsabers and the Force and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It is an absolutely fucking amazing show from start to finish. Everything about the show, the pacing, the build-ups, the payoffs, the web of spies and espionage and things that are going on, the grittiness nature of the rebellion forming and rising up against the Empire. Everything about this show is fucking aces, dude.
Mm-hmm.
The soundtrack is fucking ace. I actually listened to that today when I was working as the soundtrack because it is just so gnarly and just everything about this show. I could watch the show over and over again, this whole season over and over again.
Yeah, me too.
I finally, my wife is gonna start watching it. I'm like, cool. I'll start watching when this weekend with you.
Yeah.
I'll start go back and watch whatever episodes you're on, dude. This show is fucking sweet. Is this what happens when your wife leaves you and takes the kids? Yes. I don't know what that means, but yes, I think so. Man, I love this show until the middle. Then it hit a Rings of Power boredom to me. Oh, really? Y'all built like conuts. What is going on here? Figured as much. Okay, cool, Circa. But Tom, what are your thoughts on Andor?
Listen, I'm a huge fan of Rebels. It is definitely one of my favorite, Star Wars anything. I love the storytelling in that. I always said the Rebels has the heart that not a lot of things in Star Wars have been able to present as well. Like some of the movies do really well at that, but the true essence for what I feel like that Star Wars is, that's what Rebels does a good job of capturing, and that's a cartoon, and that's of course Filoni doing that as well too. So there hasn't been a lot of things for me outside of the movie Rogue One or any other content, especially the sequel trilogy, that has come out and really given something like that I love a run for its money until this show. This show is absolutely. You want to take care of that, Cuddles? Thank you. Trying to have a conversation. We got rude people in here. You can do whatever you got to do. Cuddles or Trick, please. Thank you. It's a dark, gritty, grounded story that we haven't seen a heck of a lot of in Star Wars. Honestly, Rogue One is the one that was the first to kind of do that for us, and many of us were so hooked on it instantly because it was unfamiliar.
Right. Yeah.
That kind of storytelling, like running up against the wall, seeing these just normal people trying to deal with things that are way out of their control and power. But what this show does and what Rogue One does is it shows that maybe they aren't at the top, like I think like Tug of War, maybe they're not like the ones in the front and they're the most iconic or whatever, but they're definitely the ones somewhere secretly in a corner pulling somewhere.
Right.
And, string and a thread has to start somewhere.
Right.
And that's kind of exactly what I feel like this series does for these characters and for the entire series at this point. When you talk about the Galactic Civil War specifically, is these people are the first ones tugging on these strings,
right,
and creating the building blocks for what we know going forward as most people's favorite, which is the Galactic Civil War. A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, things in that nature.
Right.
But as a series generally, this is a unbelievably written series. Characters, dialogue, sound, just the scenes, the locations.
Yes.
They made a TIE fighter in one episode look like it was superimposing when we grew up seeing TIE fighters in squads of 4 getting taken out by X-Wings.
Yeah.
And now here we're seeing people looking up at an X-Wing going, that's scary.
Yeah. You definitely get a different perspective. Like
Yeah.
you get you're not like in control of the situation. You're not following somebody who is capable of getting away or handling that. I mean, legitimate fear.
Right.
People understand they can get wiped out really quick by the Empire.
And that's the big thing of it, I think, is that perspective is what this series brings. And there's some scenes with some of the acting in it, because the acting is incredible. The dialogue clearly is incredible, but there's a scene in this specifically, really a couple of them, but I go back to one that you had just seen that was just like, I was just completely jaw dropped by how intense and amazing that scene was. I'm going to be very surprised at the end of the day if this show doesn't get handed a few Emmys.
Dude, I was just thinking that earlier today. I was like, I don't know how this movie gets passed. Like, I get it, it's Star Wars, and sometimes these awards groups they're very not for whatever reason, outside of like special effects or sound editing or anything like that. Typically, they don't get too much love for these movies.
Right.
This one deserves some fucking respect.
Right. And as a Star Wars fan, super fan, listen, we were talking to Drastin and Rohit. There's some toxic fans. There's going to be toxic fans in all fandoms, but there's some out there that's saying if you don't like this show, then you're just a child because you want to see lightsabers and powerful people running around. And
I like that
knock
shit.
that shot. I like that shit too. Knock that shit off. Star Wars needs this stuff.
Yep.
Because the thing that's great, I know we've talked about it before about Star Wars generally, is that it's a big fucking galaxy.
Yep.
There's a lot of fucking people out there, a lot of characters. There's no reason why you can't have different forms of storytelling. Star Wars visions and things like that,
Right.
or the tales from the Jedi.
Yep.
Cartoon. You're literally getting different storytelling of different characters in this crazy palette of storytelling that in some ways might not fully intertwine, but does at some point as well too. We can have all the great stuff, all the big, powerful Star Wars and Jedi and the big screens and different series and Mandalorians feeling like live-action cartoons. That's perfectly fine. But, sometimes it's nice also to have content like this, which is really grounded and very adult-heavy, very, almost risky and dark. We need this sort of stuff, and there's no reason why we can't enjoy all of it. And that's what makes Star Wars unique compared to a lot of things, is that unlike Rings of Powers, for instance, where it's kind of packaged in already to it's to everything. Star Wars isn't like that. Star Wars is pretty open. That box doesn't have a lid on it because there's just so much you can tell about.
Right.
There's so much open area and nothing's been finalized with that. So to have something like this, even when Rogue One came out, some of us were like, we never expected to have this.
Right.
To see the dark side of the other side of the rebellion, and you see that to an nth degree now, and how that starts and the back channels, and you see people who
wasn't so easy peasy to set up.
Right. There's money involved. There's political intrigue. There's espionage. There's spy work. There's all kinds of crazy things. And this series does it all and does it really well. You take Star Wars out of this, this is an incredible series.
Oh yeah,
it's an amazing series. We just happen to actually get something like this in the Star Wars universe, and that's incredible as fuck. You got some characters and some iconic scenes in this. You get tragedy, just like in Rogue One. You got, the entire time they're running into a brick wall, and they are, but you get characters in this series that tragedy just happens every turn, or you think things going one way and then tragedy strikes, or something turns like this. It kept you on your feet the entire time, and there's been a lot of great TV this year. We talk about this constantly as a community. There's been amazing television this year,
Mhm.
and I still think we're in a golden time of it. And I still think it because the pandemic, and I think people sat around and just started writing or started thinking. I don't know what it is. We're getting to reap those benefits. I think now.
Absolutely.
You
They're not constricted to a 2-hour slot.
Right.
They can look. You can take as much time as you want.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like even though this is on the small screen, the thing that I love about Andor is we use the term slow burn a lot for a lot of shows, and I feel like we hear that more with our TV shows because it allows them to flesh things out more. They don't have to jump into all the big action sequences and appease to that audience.
Right.
When you're on these TV shows, you have 8, 12 episodes, 45 minutes to an hour long.
Mm-hmm.
You can really fucking dive into stuff, thought-provoking stuff, and
Character development.
and story arcs and all this stuff. And that's what I love about fucking Andor is look, yeah, the first couple episodes, it's a little slow, but man, it's more like a fuse has been lit. And there are multiple payoffs in this 12-episode season where you're just like, Jesus, this shit is, when it's time to get things going, it is legitimately and genuinely intense and thrilling. And that's why it's just so good. And the only reason that pays off so well is because of everything leading up to each big moment. And it's so well done. All the stakes, the people have so much at stake. There's some people who have very little in their life, and this is all they can do. There's other people that have a lot of things on the line, a lot at stake in order to be a part of this rebellion. And as the things heat up and things become more intense, you start to see some of these people who are in positions of power. They're not as confident and sure of things when things get going. So I mean, it's just a really well done show. Great writing, the characters, the performances are great, and again, man, the fact that they don't have to rely on the tried and true, the Force, the Jedis, the lightsabers, and all that shit. They can focus on that nitty gritty street level shit that's going on, that got the rebellion going, and how things aren't all as clean as you think they are. That kind of shit, man, offers so much fucking perspective, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, and I'm super stoked. There's a second season. We've gotten some rumors of some characters, or at least one actor maybe reprising a role, which would be really exciting. So I'm here for more of it. This is definitely a more adult Star Wars, and I think it's good to be able to do that. And like I said, I can enjoy all spectrums of that they have to offer, and that's the great part about this mythos is that you can watch the cartoons, you can watch the live action cartoony stuff, you can watch the movies, and now you can watch a series like this, which is just
shout out to 12 episodes too, man.
Oh yeah, dude. I was engaged the entire time. I know some folks felt like there was some time in the middle that it kind of slowed down, or even the beginning, but I didn't have that feeling at all. I just felt like kind of like you said about the fuse being lit, but I also feel like they didn't rely on, and we talked about this I think before, they don't rely on explosions and big crazy things happening. They rely on character development and dialogue for their explosions. And like I said, again, that's not something we normally see, especially
in a Star Wars.
This kind. We haven't got this kind of writing in Star Wars generally, outside maybe some old EU novels or novels in general. We not live action. This is quite a treat.
I know it's something that we're going to talk about in the next couple episodes, our favorite shows of the year and whatnot. This, honestly, man, right now, gun to my head, before I start really thinking about it, it might change, but right now, this might be my favorite show of this season, this year so far. It is just that fucking good, dude. It's that good. There's been a lot of great shows, Stranger Things has been great. There's shows like that where I'm just I can't wait for next week's episode. I can't wait for this episode. This is one of those ones where I am legitimately what the fuck's going on? I have to watch this episode. I have to watch it, and it's just, it's right there, you guys. It's one of the best shows on television right now, and it deserves to be recognized when it comes to award time. Hey, Will. No, we're gonna talk about Willow here in a moment, but and we want to get you guys and girls' thoughts on Andor. Let us know in the comments if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Spotify. We'll have a poll up there for you to rate Andor season 1. I think it's fucking incredible. 4 out of 10 from Cuddles. Cuddles is a harsh critic right now. Cuddles is really, really harsh.
That's kind of like his start and stop number for anything.
I think everything's a 4 out of 10.
I do too.
Everything's a 4 out of 10. Even his favorite movie, 4 out of 10.
Right. He loves this movie, but it's a 4 out of 10.
All the awards, Zach. Yeah. Give it to him all, man. He does need a hug, Mike.
I think definitely this is my top 3 right now. I think for this year, gun to my head without thinking about everything, is going to be Andor, Peacemaker, and the last season that we got of Stranger Things.
I think that's a fair list.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair list. I'd have to think about it, but there's been a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, this
I
is-
gotta finish The Boys season 3 before I can rule on that. I mean, there's like I said, man, there's just
yeah.
a lot of great shit that
Yeah.
has come out this year, and I think that's gonna be a good conversation when we get to that. So,
Yeah.
Speaking of shows, Tone, let's touch briefly on our first impressions. We watched the first episode, even though there are 2 available right now on Disney Plus. We watched the first episode of Willow. You and I are fans of the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a childhood fantasy of mine. I love that movie. I thought it was great. I thought it was entertaining. I love Mad Mardigan. It was one of my favorite Val Kilmer movies.
Mardigan.
And obviously Warwick Davis returns. And again, a show that is revisiting a fan favorite movie with legacy characters, and how they handle those characters will obviously depend on our perspective of that and how we feel about that. But obviously we've seen some characters already in this first episode. The presentation is there.
Very nice presentation.
We've got new characters that are clearly going to take the reins going forward, but we have obviously Willow, we have the Queen, a lot of characters that we've seen already. So I am really excited to see where this show goes. I love Willow. I love the fantasy elements of this world. The characters are all kind of like similar to the ones that we saw in the movie. The guys are kind of like, these overconfident, rogue type guys, characters, and I dig that. So I'm really excited to see where this series goes. But I mean, first episode, great impressions. Like I said, the presentation is aces. The soundtrack is amazing. Obviously, Warwick Davis is there. So I mean, it does just fine setting things up, kind of piquing your interest of where it's going to go. But I didn't check to see how many episodes this is. I'm assuming 6 to 8. Would love that. I'd love it if this was 12 too, like Andor. But we'll have to see. But Tone, your immediate thoughts on Willow. Right
I only got 1 episode in. I couldn't get the second in. I didn't have the time today. But
8 episodes, Mike says. Cool.
If those 8 episodes go 54 minutes like this first one,
I'm
I'm happy about that. Like, very honestly, like,
but I'm high.
I totally agree. I love this world, and I think we've talked about it before when we first saw this trailer. It's a fantasy movie from yesteryear that never gets that love like other fantasy movies tend to get.
It kind of goes under the radar.
It goes very under the radar. I mean, we all hear about
it's 8, Mike. You're right.
We hear about the of course, Lord of the Rings, but that's a little bit later. But we hear about Legend and things like that. You always hear about Legend or the Neverending Story, things in that nature. But Willow just seems to always like be kind of on the outside of that. And for whatever reason, I don't know why, but Willow's definitely one of my favorites and always has been as a kid. I loved this movie. I think, outside of the fact that it was Warwick Davis, but just seeing Val Kilmer be Val Kilmer as Mad Mardigan in it, like, he was just so, just charismatic as hell because it's Val Kilmer, right? But man, when I'm watching this instantly and I'm seeing like, man, I'm like, everything's crisp and clear. The costume and set designs are very nice.
Yes.
I even got some like kind of got vibes here or there because they look like the Star of the Seven back behind him at one point. I was like, what the fuck is that? But as the episode kept moving forward and you get a pretty big fight scene, that looked really good. Like the choreography with that was really good. Just
a lot of
everything,
practical effects.
a lot of practical effects, which is really big for us as well
points.
too. And then you get towards the end and he finally shows up.
Yeah, there he is.
And you're like, motherfucker. And like, I'm like, at first I was like, am I going to get emotional about this? Like, what is going like, am I getting a feeling about this here? And I didn't get too much of a feeling of it, but I still got a feeling.
It's just good to see Willow.
Dude,
That's all it is.
Fucking love Warwick Davis. I don't know if you ever watched that show with fucking Ricky Gervais and the one crazy guy, and they travel. He hung out with some of those guys. Anyways, he's just there's something about him in just life, and like even when he does the fan stuff, he's just about the fans.
He's
and
a
things
genuine
like
person.
He is.
Genuinely good
he
person.
Is. You know what I mean? And when you watch the movie as a kid, you're like, this. He's so iconic. He's so goddamn iconic. And when he shows up like that right there, it just like, man, it's been so long, but it just felt natural.
Yeah.
It didn't felt forced at all.
Nope.
It felt like, oh fuck, he's still a fucking
Just
sorcerer.
a chill sorcerer,
Still
man.
being Willow. So no, I'm super hyped for the rest of the season. The reveal at the end was very surprising, very good, and
yeah, I did not see that coming
nope,
at all.
Nope, I can't wait to see the brownies.
There's a reveal at the end of this episode where you're just like, oh.
Yep, I'm ready for Kevin Pollak already.
And going back to what Blanco said, so people aren't confused, it's set 20 years later, not 34 like the actual years.
Which is
that
what
have
we did
passed.
talk about.
We talked about that before the show because there's a couple things about that reveal at the end where it's kind of like, huh. how does that
Yeah,
math
we're trying to
work
line
out?
up. So so there you go. So and he hasn't aged a whole lot. I mean, he looks older in 20 years.
Makeup can do a lot of things.
Right, right. But no, I am stoked for this.
And dude, when you
first episode already got me.
hear the Willow theme song kick in, there's a couple of spots. They don't go really heavy into it this episode, but there's just a couple of spots where it's like da, 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 da. I'm just like, oh my god, this is so fucking amazing. Yeah, but I'm with Mike, man. I mean, this movie is one of the movies of my childhood. This is one of the things I used to just watch all the fucking time because Willow was dope and Matt Mardigan was fucking hilarious. And even the bad guys were kind of creepy, man. They were kind of scary at times. You know, at that age, you're just like, damn, these motherfuckers are serious, dude.
Yeah, and that's just it. Like the makeup, the costumes, everything. Like when they're fighting that like I'm
It's
like,
creepy.
God damn, this looks really, really good.
Yeah, it's really good. Presentation is really strong right now. So hopefully the story continues to build, continues to grow and evolve. And, you know, Willow is obviously going to be a huge part of this series. But, you know, we also got to build up the characters, especially if this is going to be multiple seasons or something that they're going to really explore. You got to really help these other characters grow and become people that we can like fall back on and relate to, you know, whenever Willow finally passes the torch completely. But I really enjoyed what we saw early on, man. I thought it was really, really good in the first episode. So
yeah, I'm probably gonna watch a second before I go to bed.
That's actually not what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna continue playing God of War because I just can't stop playing God of War. Even though I beat the game, I rolled credits.
Yeah. I
rolled credits on God of War, but now I'm just going back, knocking out missions, the favors and all that stuff. Going around trying to find all the chests. I would honestly, man, it's been a while since I've platinumed a game. Last one I did was Ghost of Tsushima. I think I'm gonna try to platinum this one.
My only complaint on the Legend map Legend, and I think 2018 didn't do this either, but like when you want to go back and find those stuff, if you've already saw it, I wish it would make a marker on your map.
Once you beat the game, something happens.
Okay, that's all I need to do.
There you go.
Perfect. So that's good. But no, I just can't stop.
But dude, Brian, I'm gonna try to platinum it, dude. It's been a minute since I platinumed the game. Ghost of Tsushima.
Are there
was one of
Valkyries
those
to
games
fight in
that-
this?
What's that?
Are there Valkyries to fight in this?
There's
fuck that.
There's some
fuck that.
bad hombres you gotta look out for. There's definitely some challenges, some challenging enemies that'll just curb stomp you if you're not ready to. It can get really bad. There are stuff. Brian is right. There are stuff.
Okay.
There is stuff out there. So. Carlos says, "Hey, now I enjoy Tone Tinkle Time as much as the next person. I love it too. I do love Tone Tinkle Time, but we got through stuff a little bit quickly. And obviously, when we're actually just instead of drinking 20 beers, we just have one growler drink them, so we can't drink a lot. And Tone went potty before the show. He's being a
usually try to.
responsible adult. He's being a big boy.
I went in the sun pump.
So." What are your thoughts on God of War? Spoiler free. I fucking love it, dude. Just we'll save this for once Tone. We'll get into a little bit deeper dive when Tone finishes it. But I fucking I love this one. I actually think I liked it more than the first one, Brian. I think the story is great. Especially Kratos is the evolution of his character. Finally, they address some of the criticisms of Kratos in earlier God of War games, and we just really see his character evolve in meaningful ways. As a parent, I was able to relate to a lot of things. I think there's some great moments in this game, some really great moments, partially due to great writing and great performances. It is just it's great. And the thing that I really dig about the combat in this game is it is button mash friendly. Like you can beat people, and probably not some of the tougher characters that you'll find along the way. But learning every enemy's moveset and mastering swapping between the three weapons and utilizing your skills, and even like when you can sit there and add perks to individual skills that allow you to use things differently. And then if you want to get crazy, Tone, I'm serious, man, just Google best God of War builds.
I've debated it, but I know I'll
sit there and get really into the numbers, and you find the synergy between the gear and then some of the other items that you're attaching to your weapons. It can get fucking deep.
Yeah.
And then and then you mold Kratos' set, his gear to your play style, and all of a sudden it gives you a little bit more of an advantage. And dude, it is just, the combat is so nuanced, and all the realms are so different. The one I have been spending just a ridiculous amount of time. I'm trying to remember. Oh shit, the name of it. Brian, what's the area with all the dragons? All the little dragons you got to fight. I can't remember the realm. Vanaheim. I have just spent an absurd amount in Vanaheim. I fucking love Vanaheim. I've been doing a lot there, but like there's other areas, other realms. I think in Vanaheim I'm at like 75% completion. I got a couple areas where I'm in the 70s completion wise. So like I said, I just even after I've beaten the story and I roll the credits, usually when I roll credits on a game like that of that size, sometimes I'll take a step away for a little bit and just kind of like get past it. But then I'm just like, fuck, dude, I go back into it and I'm just continually walking around these realms and completing favors and discovering secrets and trying to rank up Kratos' health and his rage. And it's addicting. It's addicting as fuck. So
yeah, man,
we'll see though. We'll see what happens on Friday when Callisto Protocol comes out. I'm sure I'll drop away from that. Don't forget, tomorrow, the final episode of Helix Station comes out.
Oh, does it tomorrow?
It's tomorrow. It comes out on Thursday. So if you've been listening to that podcast series, Helix Station episode 6 is the final episode before the game drops on Friday. It has been really fucking awesome to listen to. Really good, like, build-up stuff to help you understand what's going on in this game. Did you see the picture I sent to you in the Signal of the Unreal Josh Duhamel and the real picture of Josh Duhamel? I sent it to you in Prime.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, unbelievable. Like, unbelievable how spot-on accurate Unreal is. I can't wait for that game, dude.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for that game. You have to let me know about that game. We'll be talking about it for sure. I know he's going to be playing it this weekend. I'm going to be checking it out.
I took Friday off for it.
You took Friday off for it. My man. He's hyped, man. I'm hyped too.
That's like, listen, as much as I love God of War, and it's one of my favorite Sony first-party things, like I can't continue to tell everybody how much I loved Dead Space when that first came out and how that affected me as like that horror genre and third-person gaming. Just completely hooked. So like the Callisto, if anybody remembers, a long time ago when the PS5 first came out, I've been saying for a couple years my most anticipated game on PlayStation 5 is Callisto Protocol. So I'm super psyched. So
Carlos says, "You're 50. You can't take days off for video games."
When I used to work at McDonald's prior to getting to GameStop and having to actually release them, I would take every Tuesday off.
I took days off for games all the time.
I do it all the time.
Releases. Yep. I honestly, once in a while, I still do. If there's something like a big RPG coming out or something like that, I'll be like, you know what?
Yeah, that's just the way I like to chill, you know?
Yeah, take the day off. No one's home. I can sit downstairs with my McDonald's and just play video games for like 8 hours.
Steak, bake, egg, cheese, bagel.
Oh, man, things are so good. Y'all mofos push the stream off for a game. It's true. Anything being 50 gives us that right to take. You know what? If anything, yeah, he's right. I think Mike's right on that one. One time in college, I did all my work for the week ahead of time to get permission to get off class for a GTA 5 release. You know what I used to do? I just didn't go to class. When NCAA football was out and was recruiting season, I'd skip my fucking class because I knew my brother and my cousin were going for the same running back that I wanted. So I had to stay home and recruit hard. Because I wasn't going to lose that running back.
Loser.
Yeah, I am a fucking loser, but I'm a cool loser. That's the thing, right? Cool loser.
Sorry.
Tom, what do we got, man?
Well, you know, we got the 100th episode coming up next Saturday, so we're finalizing what we're going to do and time. We'll let everybody know ASAP on time. We're going to try to have a small road gallery of people around as well, too, so keep you posted on that. And as always, like I said at the top of the show as well, I just want to make sure that we're shouting these things out constantly for everybody, especially for everybody that continues to support us out there in the social media world as well too. But Midland Mall Comic Con, we're only a few months away, March 5th and 6th, right?
March 4th and 5th,
or whatever.
That weekend.
That weekend of March. Holy shit. Drop the ball on that one. Don't clip that. We're really excited about that. Hopefully that Saturday night we can plan to get together with anybody that's in the area.
Yeah.
Again, like we did with Oracle or something else. Who knows? Maybe we'll talk somebody into smoking some meats. That'd be cool. But so there's that, of course. And then, of course, 7 Dungeons will be there as well, rolling dice, doing his table things. We're trying to get half-ass beer review somehow integrated into that as well, too. We're going to talk to him. We got some ideas. Hopefully he will be involved. We'd love to have him there for some of those as well, too. And a lot of you appreciate all the shout-outs you do. King Cuddles all the time shouting us out. You know, the guys over at Trinor Studio, Mike the Beard, you guys always support constantly. Make sure to give some of these guys a follow as well, too. Defects Live. Defects, I know you're out there. You've been around a lot lately. It's good to have you back in the area and acclimated back in, man. Love you to death. Go check him out sometime as well, too. He's one of my all-time favorite streamers. He does a great job of what he does. But you guys, we can't thank you enough every chance that you are here You bring joy to us. We love doing this, sitting, chatting with you. You guys supporting us like you have for so long means a lot to us. You know, guys like Crash have been here for a long time, always, you know, babbling at us as well, too. So, you know, hey, we appreciate you guys. So thank you so much. Just keep doing what you're doing. Like, follow, share, sub, share it with other people you know as well, too. That word of mouth's huge for us.
And seriously, because of you guys' support over the years, you know, that's why we're able to get a new laptop so we can continue the stream, and it's going to be a better quality stream going forward. And that's, again, because of you guys and girls' support. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Crash, no, we did not get into too many details on the 100th episode, other than it is going to be next Saturday, December 10th. We're still working on finalizing the details like time and who will be in attendance. But I don't anticipate we'll have too many topics like movie reviews or stuff like that. But I would say for the December 16th show, that'll be the final show of the year. We'll definitely be talking about Violent Night. We'll talk about Christmas, Bloody Christmas, and whatever the fuck else we can watch between now and then. We'll probably talk a little bit more about Willow will still be done, but we talk about Chucky series. We'll talk about that on the 16th. So we'll have a lot to talk about on the 16th. Plus, we might have a bracket for y'all. Might have some fun shit to do during that episode. So we'll have a lot going on for the 16th. But next Saturday, sometime during the day, so maybe at night, I don't know yet. And we don't know who's going to be there, but we're working on it. We're working on finalizing that. We're really excited about the 100th episode. I'm sure it'll just be us getting shit-faced all day.
Probably be a little bit more, kind of like the 50th, a little more chaos than normal.
No real, like, guideline of what we're going to do.
Yeah, and we'll put a question mark on. We'll just stop whenever we're passing out.
That's really when everyone's dead is when we'll just cut the feed. So, but we're really looking forward to that. This Friday, depending on how much Callisto Protocol I can get done during the day, I might stream Call of Duty on Friday night, get drunk, play some video games, shoot some stuff if anybody wants to play or whatever. Any jelly beans in the no square? No fucking jelly beans. None. Not doing that shit anymore. But Friday night, I'll probably be streaming something. We'll be playing something. I'm not gonna do Callisto Protocol. That's a single player game. I'll play that off stream, but get some Call of Duty rage in on Friday night. So next Wednesday, I don't know. Might do a community night. It just depends on the scheduling. But other than that, if nothing on Wednesday, there won't be any show next week until Saturday for the 100th episode. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate the support. Appreciate everybody being here. It was a great show. A lot of good conversation. For Fanboytone, I'm the Dude79. We will see you Friday night. If we don't see you Friday night, next Saturday, the 100th episode. Be there. Good night, everybody.
Party.
Party.